CQ, the old friends net, CQ, CQ. This is N4LQ. November 4, Lima, Quebec. The name is Steve, and the QTH is Shelby, North Carolina. The old friends net meets here every Tuesday at 8 a.m., Thursday at 8 a.m., and on Sunday at 4 p.m. on 3715 KC, plus or minus about 3 KC, depending on the age of the transmitter. The Old Friends Net is an amplitude modulation only net, and we love to hear what you're running, and we like to hear old rigs, and new rigs are okay too. So those wishing to check in, please call now.
Good morning, Steve. WA4LLR.
K4GDN.
WB4ARK.
K3OS.
WB4NKL.
Well, okay, here's what we got so far. WA4LLR, K4GDN, WB4ARK, K3OS, and WB4NKL. Anybody else wishing to check in?
KF4DRN.
All right, got you, Greg. KF4DRN. Anybody else? Kind of a quiet morning this morning. The signals all sound good, and the band sounds good. So we should do really good this morning. Well, I'm live streaming here this morning, so I'm running the SDR. Please forgive me for that, but there's a lot of people out there that are entertained by watching and hope they're enjoying it. And everybody enjoys hearing some of the old rigs that are on here. So we really have a good time. It's cold, 26 degrees, and I don't see much change in temperature until next week, when it will warm up about 10 degrees or so, and that'll feel better. I don't really care too much about cold weather. Well, let's see, I'm sitting here faced with one project in replacing the fan in the AL811H amplifier with a more robust fan that should protect it better for amplitude modulation. And thinking about the Old Friends Luncheon coming up here on Thursday in Spartanburg. So let me run down the list again real quick here, and y'all be sure we got it right. LLR, GDN, ARK, OS, NKL, and then DRN. Anybody else want to check in? Give me a call. All right, well, Dave, how are you this morning? WA4LLR, N4LQ.
Okay, N4LQ and the old friends, WA4LLR. Well, good morning to everybody. All signals are good up here in the eastern jungles of Yancey County, where we've got 20 degrees, light snow, and a couple of inches on the ground. So it's kind of a chilly day. Running the ART-13 this morning, listening on the 390A, and just feeding directly an 80-meter dipole at about 50 feet. Don't really want to get out in the snow today. We're supposed to go and do a couple of propane jobs, but I don't know if we're going to do that or not. We'll just have to see. Right now, about all I want to do is sit in by the fire and talk on the radio. So let's see here. What else is going on? Not too much. So we'll go ahead and send it on down to the coast. Here it comes, George. Hope you can hear me okay. K4GDN, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, the group's K4GDN. Yeah, copying everybody real well this morning here in Myrtle Beach. I'm running the BMW 5100B, receiving on an NC300, and the antenna is a center-fed dipole feeding through a matchbox. It's clear. It was about 35 when I got out here to the shack this morning. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. This beats 100 degrees and 100% humidity all the way around. I can take this. It's supposed to get a little cooler, I think, tomorrow, which doesn't bother me a bit. But I do have to get out there and do some leaf blowing here in the next few days. So the leaves are just beginning to come down really, really heavy here. Had a little wind last weekend, and that blew a bunch of them down in the backyard. So I guess with that, I'll pass it on to Buddy. WB4ARK in the group, K4GDN.
K4GDN, WB4ARK. Okay, George. Well, all the leaves are almost off up here. We have a few stragglers. I'll be glad when they get down so I can mulch them up and be done with it. The temperature here is in the 20s, 27, 28, I think. And your ART-13 sounds good, Dave. I hope mine sounds as good as yours does. Expected Jimmy to be on here today, but he's not, so we're minus another one if he would have it on. There's several individuals missing out of our group today. Wonder what's going on. They overslept, I guess. So with that, it's clear here. We were supposed to have some light dusting of snow last night, but I see there's a little bit of ice crystals in our valley at the front of the house, and which I can see from our front bedroom window. And our cat is on her chair overlooking the front of the house, checking everything out, making sure everything is just fine and there are no squirrels to speak of. So anyway, over to WB4NKL, WB4ARK.
Oh, goes to Gary.
All right, I'll pick it up. Hey, buddy, K3OS. Sorry. Anyway, good morning from a cold hickory. I can tell you we did get a dusting of snow last night. I thought it was frost, but my wife said, look again. It's a little funny. And when I say dusting, barely see it. See it on top of the roofs here. That's about it. So it was about 24 when I woke up this morning. I don't know what it is now. But cold. And fortunately, the shack has a little one of these little Mitsubishi heaters in it, and that sucker just cranks out heat no matter what. A whole lot better than my other heat pump in the rest of the house. Man, this thing has been working for years, and a wonderful little thing. I've got I had to crank up a couple of the little humidifiers this week, so we can get a little humidity in the house. I should put in a whole house thing in the heat pump. found one yet that I like. You might, anybody who's got one, might pass along some recommendations. Anyway, over to you, Cliff. How things up in the Tennessee Valley there on the mountains? WB4NKL, K3OS.
Yeah, K3OS, WB4NKL on ART-13 again this morning. Well, we've got a couple inches of snow here, and it's hanging on all the trees and feed lines and antennas. It's amazing how you can stack snow up on a wire. But it's pretty, but I don't want to get out there. 27 degrees. So that's the way it's going right here, right now. Let's see. Leaves, buddy, I've still got one. I got some trees. I think they're gum trees, or not really sure. But the leaves hang on through December, and it's about time to. They still got leaves on them, but I've still got to deal with them when they eventually fall off. So it's a never-ending thing, seems like. Yeah, there's a light crowd in here this morning. Maybe they'll come out of the woodwork here in a minute. I'll send it on to Greg. Go ahead, Greg. KF4DRN. It's WB4NKL.
WB4NKL. KF4DRN. It's my first time checking in on this net, and I want to say good morning to everyone, and hope everybody's doing okay. About 27 degrees here in Newmarket this morning, Newmarket, Tennessee. And I'm just running barefoot right now. I don't have the Maritron AL11 on right now. Had it on a few minutes ago, but hope everyone's hearing me okay. I'm not sure who's getting next here. Maybe Steve? I'm not sure. Unless somebody else checks in. But anyway, I'll throw it up in there and get the KF4DRN.
All right, Greg, KF4DRN in the group, N4LQ. Always good to hear from Newmarket, Tennessee, barefoot even. You're kind of light here, but I'm copying you okay, and hope everybody else is copying everybody else. All the ART-13s are hearing each other. Let's see. We had an exception to the ART-13. That's on George on his B&W 5100, which sounded excellent. And my dogs are barking at something out front. And I got a couple of items on Facebook Marketplace I'm trying to get rid of. A headboard and a book, or a twin bed frame and everything. I tell you what, Facebook Marketplace is a total disaster. If you put something on there for sale, you get about 10,000 people saying, is it still available? And then when you look up that person and see who they are, it's somebody in Ecuador or Venezuela or Spain or whatever. It's just, it makes no sense what they're doing, and I don't know what they benefit by doing that. And of course, I've gotten to where I don't even reply to those people, and I can't find a way to block that kind of stuff out. But that's the majority of the responders on Facebook Marketplace. The tree people are back at it again for the past couple of days, 2 or 3 days. They've been back behind our house cleaning up logs and branches, and they've got a track hoe and a excavator, and it's treacherous. They're clinging to the side of a very steep hill on the dirt and trying to reach down and pull things up. And then when he's done, he has to reach out behind him with the shovel and pull himself up the hill. Otherwise, he just sits there and spins. It's very, very steep. Anyway, the track hoe broke down. That's the thing that was carrying all the stuff from one place to the other. And he got jammed up yesterday and broke down, and so far today he hasn't been back. I guess they're working on that thing. Let's see, I got a new radon fan to replace my old one, and in an attempt to increase the power and suck out more radon because the level reads too high here. And this thing is the most powerful radon fan available for home use, and it is so powerful that the manometer on the wall is pegged out and over the top. It just about sucked all the water out of it, or the blue colored liquid out of it. The next morning, I've got an elbow down there in the bottom under the fan, and it gets full of water, and you can hear the slushing sound, and the thing just about quits working. And I've got a drain hole. I have to shut it off and let that drain out, and it pours out of there. I guarantee you a gallon of water comes out from condensation from that stack going up to the top of the house, and that warm, moist air from under the house condenses. And I don't know, I guess I'll maybe eventually run out of warm, moist air. I don't know. But I ordered a fitting where you cut the pipe and insert it in the junction there, and as the water vapor condenses and runs down, it catches that and feeds it through a little spigot on the side out a hose. So we'll see how that goes. This has really been fun. I can think of more fun things to do, though. So let's see. Gary, I didn't catch what you were running. I missed that somehow. So I think maybe you're on the Kenwoods, but I'm not sure. So let's go back around again after we check briefly to see if anybody else wants to check in. Please give me a call. N4LQ, listening carefully.
K4JAL.
Okay, good morning, Jim. K4JAL, go ahead and give it back to me.
Okay, N4LQ, K4JAL. Well, good morning, everybody. We got a couple of inches of snow here. It's about 22 degrees in Bluebird Lane. Enjoying the first of winter. I'm on the ART-13, as you can probably tell, because you can probably hear me enjoying this transmitter. I do not enjoy the SDR receiver. I'm going to get me a boat anchor receiver over here if it kills me. Don't have room for it, but I'll work something out. Back to you, Steve. N4LQ, K4JAL.
All right. Yeah, another one. Okay, well, the audio is sharp and clear, and that makes it good for AM. Easy to copy, Jim. So hope you can find a miniature boat anchor there. I'm not sure. I think Cliff uses a Drake 2A there quite often. Those don't take up much room. Those little Drakes, and they're broad enough in bandwidth, I believe, that might make a good boat anchor. I'm kind of looking for one myself here. So let's go ahead and go back around again. And Jim, you'll be at the end of the list. You'll come after Greg. So Greg, KF4DRN, if you would. And by the way, welcome to the net. I thought you had checked in here before, but maybe I'm hallucinating or something. Anyway, you will turn it over to K4JAL. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
Okay, Steve. N4LQ. WA4LLR. Yeah, you know Greg from the Over the Hill gang. He's regular up there on the early net. Let's see. Good morning, Jim. Good to hear you on the ART-13. That gives us how many in here today? 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. And George, the B&W 5100 sounds good. And of course, Steve, the SDR is doing a good job. Sound like your tree people are brave folks. I've watched some of those guys on those track hoes do some pretty amazing things, and they got more nerve than I do. And sound like you do have a powerful radon fan. My goodness. Let's see. Yeah, it's still hovering about 20 degrees with a couple inches of snow, still blowing a little snow out there. So I'm not in any hurry to jump out into the weather today. The space weather conditions, sunspot count's 113, solar flux index is 186, and the K is 2. So it's not too active today, but pretty good band conditions here on 80 meters. A few interesting things from this day in history. On this day in 1992, the first text message was sent. On this day in 1967, the first human heart transplant took place. On this day in 1818, Illinois has become the 21st state. On this day in 1984, an explosion at a Union Carbide pesticide plant in India killed between 15 and 20,000 people. On this day in 1989, President Bush and President Gorbachev suggested the Cold War was coming to an end. And on this day in 1979, the last AMC Pacer rolled off the assembly line. So that's a few things from this day in history. And one other item I'll mention, I'm going to try to liquidate a few things here in the shack since I have no room for anything else. So I've got a nice Apache TX1 and Mohawk RX1 receiver for sale. Both of them are good working units, and cosmetically they're nice. So anybody interested in 2 green boxes, let me know. I can bring them down to the luncheon Thursday if need be. So on down to you, George. K4GDN, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, the group's K4GDN. Yeah, everybody's coming in here well. KF4DRN was a little bit weak. I believe the handle there was Dave, if I'm correct, wrong. But other than that, everybody's coming in well. All the ART-13 sound well. And thanks for the report on the BMW. That would be, I would be willing to sell it. It's big and heavy. I also have the sideband generator that goes along with it. The 2 of them together, if you marry them together, they were set up to do that. You got something over 3 feet long and 120 pounds, so it's a little bit much to fool with. Anyway, like I say, everybody else is coming in good. All the ART-13s are sounding real good, and I appreciate you calling the net here this morning, Steve, with the cold weather. I've got the little electric heater here running in the shack. It was about 35 when I got out here, and it might be come up to about 38 here. But I've got all the warm clothes on. Can't run a whole lot of heat here in the shack. Don't have enough power to handle a big heater. Not much way in the way of projects going on here. We just got the tree and all the Christmas stuff set up, and hopefully everything's working okay. Got to get one more string of lights from one of the outside trees, but other than that, we're ready to go. So with that, buddy, I'm going to turn it over to you. WB4ARK, K4GDN.
K4GDN, WB4ARK. Okay, sorry about that, Gary. I thought Cliff was after me. I could have sworn that that's what I wrote down. I missed that somehow. Well, yeah, we've got the ARR15 R105 receiver in line with the ART13. However, I don't have it on today. I'm using the R390. Had to scratch my eye. Well, the the weather forecaster missed it significantly. Well, he was kind of iffy about any real build-up. He said we just might have a dusting. So, but we didn't have a dusting. We didn't have anything. So anyhow, it will be our first snow in quite some time when we get one. And we haven't had one in quite a few years now. So hopefully we will have a nice snow this year. It would really be fun to watch. I don't like to go out in it anymore. I've had my days of that, but it will be nice to see a good snow. It's good to hear your ART-13 on, Jim. It sounds great, if I do say so myself. And yours does too, Cliff. Didn't want to leave you out there. Anyhow, I think that's probably about it for right this moment. I don't have a whole lot going on here. I had pulled out my two-tone test signal generator that I built a number of years ago and was checking it out. I think I'm going to run a signal through this KWM2 and see how that looks. So with that, it was actually built with solid state components out of the RCA line of component units back in the 70s, and it was came out in 1972 in the handbook. If anybody wants to see the actual unit, and so that's the story on the two-tone test generator. And so we will turn it over to Gary, K3OS, WB4, ARK.
Hey, buddy, WB4, ARK, K3OS. No problem on your list management. Yeah, I forgot to tell you, Steve, and everybody, what I was using. I'm on the Gonset Twins, the G66 receiver, G77A, just running barefoot. It says about 50 watts. I don't know. Into my 200-foot long inverter V. So that's what we're using here. And Jimmy, here comes one of my cats who's decided to jump up on my desk. Anyway, I would tell you, Jimmy, the G66 receiver is better, has more selectivity than the PMR7. I don't know about an 8. I have a 7 here. And it's unlike the multi-LMAC. It's about the same size, but I've got the one with the piggyback power supply that plugs into the back end of the receiver. It contains the power supply and the speaker. So that makes it fully self-contained. You don't have to build a supply or anything like that for it. A little bit on the long side. I'd have to measure it, but it's maybe 7 inches wide, maybe about 5 inches tall, and a little over a foot deep, something like that. So would be a nice addition. Steve, if I forget it, I'll see you on Thursday. If I fail to check in on 160, I need to do that. But I'm going to make lunch, so I'll see you down there about 10ish. All right, with that, over to Cliff. WB4NKL, K3OS.
Yeah, K3OS, WB4NKL. Well, that's one thing all these ART-13s has in common. This buddy's had his hand in all of them. That's hats off to Buddy there for the work on the ART-13s. I'm running the Drake 2A receiver, Jimmy. It's small and don't take up a lot of room, and like Gary was talking about the G66, would be a nice little receiver. I had one of those hooked up, and it's surprisingly stable on sideband. The little G66, it's better than any of the other little mobile receivers as far as stability, seems like. And let's see, not too much else going on here. Been working on trying to get a Globe King 500 back on there. I've got a mixture of chassis here that I got some from Jim's that Richard had picked up, some chassis that Jim had started working on and hadn't finished, so I've been trying to go through those, and Jim hadn't got into the RF chassis yet, and I'm having problems with it. And it seems like I've got all my spares are going except RF chassis. I've got to spend some more time on those and get a couple good ones to go and get back on the air with the ART when I need a little more power, or the Globe King when I need a little more power than the ART. But I'll get them eventually. Shack's kind of cold or hard to heat. It's not hard to heat, it's just expensive to heat, I'll put it that way, so I haven't been staying out here as much. I've been missing the 160 meter net there at night, so when it warms back up, Steve, I'll try to get back over on 160. So send it on to Greg, KF4DRN. It's WB4NKL.
WB4NKL, KF4DRN. Yeah, I just thought of something. The old across the console radio. Ordered some spectrum rail cloth for it. About a week ago, I guess. But he finally come in yesterday. Haven't even got it out of the package yet. Looking to see if this is what I wanted. But anyway, I'm working on storing that old Crosby radio. Yeah, I got some progress going on here. But anyway, it gives me something to do. You know, I'm out of retirement, so that's a good thing. I'm enjoying it. I like to see some things up. I'm a retired mechanic, aircraft mechanic, machinist, auto mechanic, diesel mechanic. I've done all that in my career, but anyway, those days are gone. I just kind of relax and try to enjoy this hobby. And good to be in here. I may have checked in on this net once before. I can't remember, but okay, K4JAL station, I think,
KF4DRN, K4JAL. Yep, Greg, it's me. I love these ART-13s, listening to other people on them. It's ideal for our frequency and the geography we cover. I can't think of anybody on this net in an ART-13 that I don't hear extremely well. I hope I sound as good. That's all to Buddy's credit. I've got a PMR8, but it's paired up with the AF68, and I don't want to move that around. I'll look into this D66, Gary. That might be a good solution. So thanks for the word on that. N4LQ, K4JAL, over to you.
All right. K4JAL in the group, N4LQ. Anybody else want to check in late? This is N4LQ.
W4MEC.
Okay. Wonder where you were, Charlie. W4MEC. Go ahead.
Okay, N4LQ in the group W4MEC. Good morning. Well, I was oversleeping. That's what I was doing. I had a longer night. It was the night before my heater quit when it was 27 degrees. About 3 in the morning, and was working on that and got it going again. And dadgum, it's a gas and heat pump setup, gas backup, and it has a condensate pump for the for the water that collects in the pan underneath. Of course, you don't need it in the winter, but it has a safety switch, and the darn safety switch open up, shut the whole thing down. And so, I'm sitting here troubleshooting this stupid thing, and it turned out to be, a daggum open contact on a float switch. So, and bypassed that, and got it going, and got the house warmed back up. So, making up for that by missing the start of the net. But other than that, we got a very light dusting of snow. I can see it, and dusting is what it is. But the whole school system here in Hendersonville is on a 2-hour delay due to snow and higher elevations, I guess. So other than that, everything else here is percolating. So back to you, Steve. N4LQ, W4MEC.
Okay, yeah, I need a condensate pump on my radon fan, but trouble is the water won't come out unless you turn the fan off because it's got so much power blowing air through that pipe. There can be water in there, and it just sits there. So anyway, I hope this new gadget I've got coming will take care of that. I got a little electric heater here. It's a Vornado that I've had for years, and I like Vornado stuff. They seem to cover a wider area somehow. The fan, the air comes out in a kind of a spiral motion. Let's see, Gonset G66B on eBay. This is a nice one, Jimmy. You might want to go to eBay and grab this thing real quick because it's a buy it now for $99.99. You're not going to find it any cheaper than that, and it's got the power supply, a power supply. It's an external power supply. It looks like cable made up. It looks like the original everything. It's got the power cord that's, the guy says the power cord needs replacing, but it does work. For $100, you'd be sitting pretty good there. So go take a look at that on eBay. Yeah, we're still doing 160 at night, and last night just one person showed up, and that's not too good. We need some more help down there to keep the band open. I tell you, it was nice and quiet. The band conditions were beautiful. There just wasn't anybody there, so appreciate it if anybody can get down there with us and join us. We'd sure be glad to have you. Now that's on 1864, and we usually start at 8 p.m. And let's see. And by the way, this radon fan, just FYI, it uses 250 watts on maximum power where I've got it set now. So it's really blasting air up to the sky. I guess, let's see, do I have anything else here? I know Dave mentioned the AMC Pacer, and I drove one of those a couple of times, and actually it was a pretty nice car. It's kind of weird looking. It's real roomy inside for the size of the car, kind of egg-shaped and kind of wide, and nice big seats though, and can't really attest to its reliability. Most of those AMCs and the Gremlins were not noted for being all that reliable, but they were sort of ahead of the curve on as it were. So we got some stuff for sale by some of the gang here. Let's see. George has the B&W 5100 and the matching sideband adapter for an everyday low price of something. Let's see. Dave has the TX1 Heathkit Apache Mohawk combination, RX1 TX1, bright green and chrome. Those are always nice to have, so we'll put those out there and tell the world they're for sale. I'm sure somebody'd like to have them. With that, I'm going to go ahead and put it around one more time for a 73 round. I think this will be the third round, and that should be sufficient. So one more time around, WA4LLR, N4LQ.
All righty. N4LQ and the old friends WA4LLR. Very good. Well, Steve, thanks for calling it. Great job as always. And everybody had a good signal today. George coming in good from the coast on the 5100. And Greg, good to have you with us. I hope you can make a habit of coming down here and hanging out. Let's see what else is going on. Not a whole lot. Yeah, the Heathkits are good working radios. In fact, I was on the net with them, on the early net with them a couple of days ago. But I'm just absolutely out of room. I've got stuff stacked on top of stuff, and I'm trying to thin it down a little bit, because if I were to see something I wanted, I don't have anywhere to put it. So I'm trying my best to liquidate a few things that I don't use as frequently as some of the other things that I do. So I will go ahead and send it on back down to the eastern part of the country. And say 73. God bless everybody. Stay warm, and hope you have a great day. So K4GDN, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR to group, K4GDN, and 73 there, Dave, and everybody else. Steve, thanks for calling the net. If I get back on your sometime on 160, it's a little bit difficult for me to get on 160. I have to reconfigure an antenna and some of the other stuff here. And my reason for looking to get rid of the BMW is I do need to clear out some stuff. And I'm anticipating a move back to the upstate. Want to cut down on some of the heavy stuff. That's why I got rid of my my Viking 500. And also might consider selling the NC300. It's not all that much bigger than most other receivers, but it is heavy. It's a fully steel cabinet, chassis, and everything else. Anyway, again, Steve, thanks for calling the net. And I'll be listening to the end in case anybody's got any comments. And 73, everyone. Buddy coming to you. WB4ARK in the group, K4GDN.
K4GDN, WB4ARK. Okay, George. Everybody's signal is really strong today. Band's very quiet. No atmospherics. No nothing. It's just very quiet. It's nice. So, well, I guess we'll say 73. I guess Charlie's been deluged with other kinds of work and hasn't gotten around to his ART-13 project lately, so that would be 5, but not so today. So anyhow, we will listen out for Thursday. I will not be at the luncheon this time. I've been there a number of times in the past, and I'm going to have to cut back. So hope everybody has a great luncheon on Thursday. So with that, we'll say 73, and thanks for calling the net, Steve, and hope everybody has a great upcoming week. So K3OS, WB4ARK.
WB4ARK, K3OS. Okay, buddy. We'll miss you on Thursday. So nothing else to add here. Just watching the sun come up. Real pretty day, except for it being cold. Looking at all the naked trees, as we like to call them here in the wintertime. So that's 73s. Hope to see some of you guys on Thursday. WB4NKL, K3OS.
K3OS, WB4NKL. Okay, Gary. Well, hope everybody has a good time at the lunch, and not going to be able to make it this go around. Guess I'll go to the my railroad group, the retirees, have a breakfast on Thursday, so I'll try to make that one. 73s, and thanks for calling it, Steve, and look for everybody there Thursday, I guess. Go ahead, Greg. KF4DRN. It's WB4NKL.
I guess I'll make it my last one. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone has a good day. I think, today, KF4JAL, yesterday, KF4DRN, 773.
KF4DRN, K4JAL. Well, good morning, Greg, and everybody else that checked out. Yeah, I looked at that gunset on eBay, Steve. One thing that worries me about it, though, he says he turns it on. He couldn't check it out to see if it ran. If he's got it turned on, like anyway, it's a mighty little box, but Don's got some of them, and he can fix anything he'll work on. I'll have to hold a blowtorch to his behind to get him to do it, so I might go ahead and buy that. Over to you, Charlie, W4MEC, K4JAL, 73.
Okay, K4JAL, the group W4MEC, real good. Yeah, well, I went and looked up that, and couldn't remember what it was, so I put the word Gonset in there. Of course, it brought up a lot of interesting things. One of them is a Gonset phone patch. I don't know if you saw that for like $24 if someone's collecting oddities. But another thing it brought up for some reason was a military surplus MO-1 transmitter receiver. And I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's channelized, 4 channels. And it kind of looks like the flip side of an AR-213. It's not as wide, but the meters are on the right instead of the left. And I was just trying to find some information about it, and so far there's nothing. So you put in MO-1, and all you do is see the eBay ad. So must be something rare about it. They want too much money for it, so I'm not tempted at all. But if it would have been something reasonable, I'd probably pick it up. So anyway, I have to do more research. Nope, I have not been on the power supply. I had to finish up a couple of things to deliver, Saturday, and I got those done, and now I got a couple more, plus one that WA4FJQ's is a darn Q multiplier that I promised him. But he didn't put any pressure on me, but I feel guilty, and I got it on the bench right now, and trying to move it down to 262. So I got a couple things. Got to get the new tuning cap installed, and see how much on the end. I got it all calculated out to what I need capacitance-wise and core wires to mimic the spread at 262 that it gives you at 455. So. Just trying to make it all work. And you would think it'd be easy to make an oscillator run slower, but it's not. Yeah. If you ever worked on this stuff and you started building VHF stuff, sometimes you had to tinker to get an oscillator to work. But this one runs at 455, and you would think going to 262 would be a breeze, but it's not turning out that way. So we'll sort it out. Then I got to try it on I've got a LMAC rig that has a 262 IF. I think it's a AF67 has that. I'm not sure now, but I know the 68's 455, but I think the 67 is 262. So got to test it and see if all this effort actually works. So anyway, so that's things that are going on here, and it's colder than heck in the shack, so that slows down things too. So in the shop, so. Well, sorry I was late. Good to talk to you fellas, and see you on Thursday morning, and hopefully Thursday at the lunch. 7-3 for now, and y'all have a good rest of the day. N4LQ, W4MEC.
All right, glad you can make it. And I was rooting around in the junk box the other day, and I found a brand new in the box IF transformer, 262.5 KC. I don't know if that'd be of any benefit for your project or not, Charlie, but it's there. If you need it, I can bring it. But anyhow, well, I hope we have a decent crowd at Thursday. It sounds like it's going to be a little sparse, but bring your stuff for sale and bring something to show and tell and something to talk about. And I'm going to be bringing Gary and Chicken Liver John along with me, so he can polish off all the chicken livers. So you better hurry and get there before he arrives. So with that, we'll go ahead and shut the net down. Appreciate everybody for checking in, and we'll see you again Thursday morning before the luncheon at 8 o'clock, hopefully. And of course, every night on 160. 73s. This is N4LQ closing the Old Friends Net.